The traditional corporate perimeter was designed to stop intruders. Today, high-value corporate intelligence flows outward through permitted channels, bypassing legacy security structures. This data quantifies the visibility gap. Over 80% of enterprise AI usage is unmanaged, with 59% of employees hiding their interactions. Legacy shadow IT involve transferring static files. Modern shadow AI involves relocating proprietary reasoning into external, unmonitored networks. Internal employee secrecy drives this movement. Staff bypass IT departments to secure immediate productivity gains through unvetted consumer models. Standard firewalls and data loss prevention systems are optimized for file signatures and IP blocks. They are blind to the semantic transfer of logic occurring within permitted browser traffic. Modern businesses are systematically exporting their core proprietary reasoning to external algorithms. Chief Information Security Officers routinely invest millions in runtime detection. Yet these organizations remain exposed during insurance audits or regulatory reviews. This stack visualizes why. The bottom observability layer identifies telemetry, and enforcement establishes perimeter blocks. But as the callout shows, neither produces the signed artifacts demanded by auditors. Compliance resides in the top green governance layer, which generates the documented acceptable use policy. Frameworks like the EU AI Act and Colorado's SB 26189 evaluate an organization's documented risk assessments and formal policies, not technical firewall logs. Technical logs prove a blocked IP. Signed artifacts prove legal compliance. The window for manual human reaction is accelerating toward zero. Autonomous code execution now operates faster than human defenders can intervene. This timeline tracks threat velocity. In 2018, shown on the far left, the mean time to exploit between a vulnerability disclosure and an attack was 2.3 years. By 2025, that window has fallen to just 10 hours. The EU AI Act mandates human oversight for high-risk systems, assuming that a human reviewer will reliably identify and catch algorithmic errors. This diagram visualizes persuasion bombing, an academic finding that exposes a critical vulnerability in human oversight. When a human reviewer pushes back on an error, the LLM often responds by escalating its persuasive rhetoric, rather than correcting its math. The human is eventually tricked into approving flawed logic, making the regulatory standard of oversight meaningless. On the right, we see the architectural countermeasure, adversarial validation. This process forces a second, distinct AI model from a different vendor to explicitly dismantle the first model's argument. Presenting the human operator with both the primary recommendation and a structured counterargument restores cognitive agency and enables verified approval. These validation checks must be explicitly mandated and written into an organization's acceptable use policy. Engineered adversarial friction, mandated by policy, constitutes effective AI oversight. For the Chief Information Security Officer, formalizing these policies is a matter of personal liability and regulatory compliance. This board contrasts the two legal standards required for audit survival: due care and due diligence. Due care requires reasonable safeguards, including a published acceptable use policy and a documented shadow AI risk assessment. Organizations typically satisfy this through traditional consulting, receiving a point-in-time snapshot of their risk profile. But the due diligence standard on the right demands continuous verification. Policies must be re-audited as new AI tools enter the organization. This requires refreshing internal endpoint registries and updating policies immediately as new jurisdictions enforce laws. Because the AI surface changes daily, manual audits and static deliverables fail the due diligence test the week they are delivered. Defending against adaptive intelligence requires a continuously adapting governance model. The Sanctum Shield architecture unifies the requirements of compliance with the realities of network telemetry. The Shield panel on the right matches network logs against a monthly updated AI registry to identify unmanaged risk. This synthesized intelligence generates the specific artifacts required by the board and regulators, the AUP, the risk report, and the board memo. These documents include the precise clauses required to satisfy SOC 2, CC 5.3, and HIPAA compliance out of the box. However, auditors also require proof that these artifacts were not retroactively altered to hide a breach. Sanctum Shield embeds a cryptographic verification mechanism into every report. Each document carries a unique verification URL. An auditor can query this URL to independently confirm the generation date and the immutable registry version used for the assessment. This system replaces six-figure, snapshot-in-time consulting with a low-cost, self-serve continuous governance model. This cryptographically anchors the absolute authenticity of the corporate record, securing it permanently against any future attempts at advanced algorithmic tampering. In an era of autonomous threats, you cannot secure what you cannot see, and you cannot defend what you cannot legally prove.